Hello, good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us in this TRA webinar. This is the third webinar of this series, and today we'll be talking with 4 European technology platforms and the local host from Lisbon, ANI. So I will quickly share with you the agenda, and then we will get onto the presentations. So like I said, we have 5 speakers. First one is Luís Maia from ANI, senior consultant at the Portuguese Innovation Agency, who will share with us the latest updates on the conference program and registration status. Then we will have the 4 European technology platforms, beginning with Jaap Gebraad from Waterborne, then Roland Moser from ERRAC, which is the technology platform for rail, Ovidiu Dumitrache on the aviation technology platform ACARE, and Miguel, José, Segarra, Martínez from the ECTP, which is the efficient energy building technology platform. So I would now already like to give the floor to Luís Maia. I will make you presenter, and then we can begin.
Thank you very much, Andrea. Good morning to you all. I think I'm already showing my screen. Yes. So let me maximize this. First of all, good morning to you all, and it's a pleasure to have you here in the webinar. For those of you who are already following other webinars, you probably know me. I did a presentation about kind of the situation of the TRA2022 conference in the previous webinar. As Andrea said, my name is Luís Maia. I work for the National Innovation Agency in Portugal, who is involved in the organization of TRA2022. We're the host. Well, to start this webinar, I would just like to give you a very short presentation. We only have 10 minutes of focusing on what is happening in TRA2022, what's happening in our website. And if you've been following our website, you know that there have been a lot of new developments in the past couple of months, I would say. So a lot of things are open for registration, for you to show your interest in participating in this conference in different modes. So I will just go over that in a very fast, in these 10 minutes. And in the end, if you have questions, you can post them in the chat, because I'm not going to be able to stay here till the end of the event. So moving on. Okay. So if you go to our website, you'll see that the most important news that we have is that the registrations for the conference are open. They were open last week, so this is very, very recent. So if you go to the website, you'll see the registrations are open. You can already register. And of course, registration gives you access to the conference and the exhibition. The ticket encompasses everything. We're not making distinctions just for exhibition or for conference. The ticket is for everything. And you can see here that you have a table with the prices. I don't have time to go over in detail to each of the prices. The main things to memorize here is that the early bird is until the 31st of July. And then you have the advance till the 10th of November, and then it's on site. Just to give you a general idea, these prices are, as an incentive for you to come to Lisbon, they are lower than they were for TRA2020 in Helsinki. They are more aligned with the prices that we saw in TRA2018, that was in Vienna. So we believe that these are quite competitive prices. Of course, we have some reduced fees for students, for speakers, exhibitors, etc. It's all here. We have an explanation of different categories under the table, and also a contact email if you have any questions. So if you haven't checked this out yet, check out the registration. You can already register as an early bird. So I would advise you to take this opportunity. Also, the exhibition is open. It has been open for maybe a couple of months. So I believe I already presented this in the previous webinar, but just to let you know, the exhibition is open. If you want to have your exhibitor, I would advise you to hurry up, because many of the places are already being taken. And you could say that, you know, kind of the best spots. If you want to get the best spots, you should do it as early as possible, because it works mainly in a base of a first come, first served basis. And here in the screen now, you can just see the main deadlines. You have until the 20th of July to register for the early bird. But again, I would advise you, if you're interested in having an exhibitor, you know, you have a contact and an email box, so please register for an exhibitor, state your interest, because it runs on a first come, first served basis. So if you have some special place close to any particular stand, to the commission, whatever, now is the time for you to register to the exhibition, because we've been getting a considerable interest from many entities, fortunately. What else? Also, the demonstrations. We have here some news about the call for demonstrations. As you know, this was already open for, I would say, maybe a couple of months also. But if you haven't checked it out yet, I would advise you to check out the website, because we have news about the call for demonstrations. We have new information, and because now we have the prices. Previously, you only have a manifestation of interest if you want to demonstrate, but now we have more detailed information about kind of mini stands that you can get in the demonstration. And if you're interested in, imagine that maybe you wanted to have an exhibitor, but maybe then you thought maybe an exhibitor is too much. Well, I would advise you to check the demonstrations, because they allow you to have kind of a smaller participation. That's not an exhibitor, is something smaller for you, maybe to demonstrate some new product or technology that you have. And we have, I believe, some very interesting offers here in the demonstration with the live theater. So it's a very good place to showcase your ideas. So again, I would recommend that you check out the demonstration, because maybe you'll find out that it's something interesting for you. The sponsoring packages have been available for 1 or 2 months, I believe. Again, there are different options to sponsor. We have different packages that starts with the diamond package, the platinum package. Again, I'm not going to go through the detail, but you can check on the website what's available for each sponsoring package. And we have some 3 smaller packages: the gold, the silver, and the bronze. Also important to say, if you go to the sponsoring packages, you'll see again a functional mailbox for you to put your questions. And it's important for me to stress that if you want some kind of sponsoring that is not exactly any of these packages, I would advise you to contact the email that is there, because it's possible to do kind of tailor-made sponsoring options for your organization. So if it doesn't exactly fit what you need, still please contact the email that is there, because it's very possible that it will be possible to just do something tailor-made for your organization. So again, and this is, I think, I would stress this for the exhibition, for the sponsoring, it's usually quite flexible. So if you have an idea that maybe it doesn't exactly fit on whatever is kind of the standard package, still don't be discouraged by that, and just contact our PCO, the professional conference organizer that's organizing us, that's helping us, which is actually the same as the PENI, is the Lisbon Conference Center, CCL. They are really good at this, and they're very flexible. So do not hesitate to contact the emails there. Also, I shouldn't forget that for the more scientific part, the call for invited sessions is open. And if you're not aware of what it is, the call for invited sessions gives you the opportunity, if you would like to organize a particular session dedicated maybe to a project that you're now managing, that may be a European project that is finishing and you would like to present the results in a special session, or maybe your organization would like to organize an invited session dedicated to a particular area of your interest with some focus on the scientific part. The call for the invited sessions is perhaps a good option for you. You go to the website and you click apply here, you get the document, all the details you need to apply. Also, a contact point for all your questions is provided there. So again, this is another option to participate in TRA that may be of interest to you. And last but not least, side events. This is also a very popular category. many organizations are going to be in TRA and would like to organize some side events, possibly meetings of your organization, possibly, you know, something that you want to, an event that you want to be maybe open for all the participants in TRA, but you want to do something special for our organization. Maybe you want to organize it to offer a lunch or a dinner meeting at the venue, and this is possible. Again, that's there's a functional mailbox in there. This is analyzed on a case-by-case basis. Each side event is tailor-made. But again, if you're interested in organizing something, now is the time to do it. Again, this works in a first-come, first-served basis. So if you're interested in organizing something, a meeting, whatever, in the TRA, please do contact the email box there, CCL, to see if you can organize your side event. And that was it from my part. As you see, many new things are available. The website has many things happening right now. Pretty much everything is open now for you to show your interest, to register, to participate. So, and people have been doing this a lot recently. Thankfully we're seeing very good results and interest. So, if you would like to participate in TRA, go to the website, check what's new. And again, thank you for being here. And now I'll just open the floor for, if you have any questions, I'm open to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you, Luís, for this very practical update on the conference news. I don't see any questions in the questions box, so I think we can continue with the rest of the program. Our second presentation goes to Jaap Gebraad. I will make you presenter now, so you can share your screen while I briefly introduce you. So Jaap Gebraad is the Secretary General at the Waterborne Technology Platform and has a very long experience in the waterborne sector. Jaap has worked for 10 years as the Board Secretary and Senior Project Manager of the Bureau Innovation, Research and Development, was also Daily Secretary at the European Association EDINA, which stands for Education in Inland Navigation, and very recently, until March 2022, Jaap was also Director of Research and Development Affairs at Sea Europe. Jaap, the floor is yours to tell us more about the Waterborne Technology Platform and what can we expect at TRA. You are muted.
Yeah, okay. I was muted. Great. Thank you very much. But now I think I have to share my. Can you see my screen?
We can see it. Yes. Perfect.
Super. Many thanks for inviting. So I will shortly explain what the Waterborne Technology Platform is, what we do, and I think automatically from there we see a lot of links with the current draft program of the TRA2022. We are one of the technology platforms recognized by the European Commission somewhere at the beginning of this century. And in our case, we represent the waterborne sector. And this waterborne sector is quite diverse. It's on the one hand, the waterborne transport element, which includes not only the operators, but also the manufacturing industry, as well as the research community. But we also have a look at ports and specifically the integration of maritime transport in the logistics chain, as well as on blue growth, since a lot of our members, specifically the industrial members, are also developing solutions for activities in the area of blue growth. When it comes to waterborne transport, we currently represent the main stakeholders of that sector. Currently 114 members from 19 EU member states and a number of countries associated to Horizon Europe, and ranging from shipyards, maritime equipment manufacturers to ship owners, but also specifically important, the research community consisting of research institutes. There are quite some dedicated research institutes for maritime transport or inland navigation, as well as academia and associations. As you already heard, waterborne is specifically the term we use specifically since it includes both maritime transport as well as inland navigation and transport on lakes, as well as the related port activities. We provide policy guidance regarding research, development and innovation alongside the missions and visions we developed for 2030 and 2050. But also very important, we coordinate a partnership in Horizon Europe on zero emission waterborne transport. And to that I will come back a bit more in detail because that has quite a link to what we will do during the TRA in November. Now, a very short overview, and everything is available online or can be distributed, but we work along 3 main lines. So everything which has got to do with ships, with blue growth, and with ports. And in the area of ships or transport, specifically on the one hand, and that's why you don't see it in this slide, the co-program partnership on zero-emission waterborne transport, but we also look at research, development, and innovation for future-ready design and manufacturing of waterborne assets, or the competitiveness of the production side of our sector, as well as everything which has got to do with digitalization, from sensors to full automation, as well as the resilience of waterborne assets in operations. And as you can see in the slides, although we focus, of course, on technological solutions, there is a clear link with the human element, and there is also a clear link with regulatory issues for deployment. Now, this partnership, what is it about? It started in June last year, and it is a partnership between, on the one hand, the Waterborne Technology Platform, and on the other hand, the European Commission services. We coordinate the private side of the partnership, and in total, up to 530 million euros of funds will be made available in Horizon Europe, for which the first 2 calls have been closed, and the next call will open towards the end of this year. And as it stands by now, 3.3 billion of private investments to achieve zero-emission waterborne transport vessels for all main ship types and services by 2030, so that when we start deploying it, we will enable zero-emission waterborne transport by 2050. Now, what is zero emission in our definition? It's greenhouse gas emissions, both from new ships as well as retrofitting existing ships by means of making use of sustainable alternative fuels, but also renewable energies, electrification, as well as energy efficiency. Energy efficiency important to cut emissions from ships sailing on the current fuels, but also equally important to cut the operating costs when using new fuels, because they are often far more expensive than the fuels currently being used. But we also develop solutions to cut air pollution specifically in coastal and inland areas by at least 50% compared to the current levels, and the elimination of pollution to water, including the harmful underwater noise. Now, there are a number of other objectives. So when developing these technologies, it is envisaged that these are implementable European new technologies to strengthen the competitiveness of European industries. European industries in this sense, the shipyards, the maritime equipment manufacturers, but certainly also the ship owners in the international competition. And thereby also to provide a capability to enter new markets. And as indicated in one of the previous slides, to facilitate the development of rules, regulations, standards, policies, so that the new technologies can be implemented timely. And we also have a look at how to facilitate the uptake of these technologies. And all of this is coming together for us at the TRA2022. Just as a slide which is connected to this, we do not only look basically at the R&D component, but to a certain extent also at the deployment component, which is equally important. And I cannot give the full details yet, but we might be able to showcase in real life some of these developments close to the conference location in Lisbon. Now, what can you expect from us? We have a stand, including not only an overview of recent projects, but also participation from recent projects. We will also arrange a number of dedicated sessions. There is participation from the sector in a number of plenary sessions, and not only linked to greening, this should be greening, the first point, I will adapt the slides, but also regarding infrastructure and competitiveness. And in the strategic sessions, there are numerous waterborne speakers, and here also linked, for example, to digitalization or the current developments in fully autonomous vessels. We will have, but I cannot reveal the full details yet, so we will inform you as soon as possible, some dedicated sessions regarding relevant, but not only relevant, very practical developments in Portugal in this area. And we will facilitate continuous discussions in multiple sessions about this transition to not only zero emission, but also connected, automated, safe, secure, and competitive waterborne transport. And in that sense, I think Portugal is, and certainly Lisbon, is a unique location with a maritime history, but also with a bright maritime future. That, I think, Andrea, was a short overview of what is Waterborne and what can you expect from us for this moment in time, for the TRA 2022. And whenever updates are available, we will certainly publish them.
Okay, thank you very much, Jaap. And indeed, as you said, due to its geographical location and history, Lisbon and Portugal are of great importance for the waterborne sector. I don't see any questions for now in the chat, so I think we'll go forward with the next presenter. And I will now hand over to Roland Moser, who is chair of ERRAC, which is the European Technology Platform for Rail. Roland is head of technology office of the Swiss Federal Railways, SBB, and he also serves on various national and international boards of the railway sector. Prior to this assignment with SBB, Roland also held international technology management positions with Alstom and General Electric, GE. So Roland, the floor is yours. If you can share your, we can see your screen, we can see you. You can turn to full mode. Yes?
All done. Excellent.
Perfect. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your kind introduction and welcome everybody. It's my pleasure to present to you the European Rail Research Advisory Council in the context of the TRA, upcoming TRA in Lisbon this year. What is ERRAC? ERRAC is one of the European technology platforms. It's the one for rail, founded now just a bit over 20 years ago. Recently, we celebrated our 20th anniversary. We are here to promote the holistic vision of the rail system, a truly pan-European rail system, together with all stakeholders. I think we're one of the few associations of really old rail stakeholders are around one table. And this is very beneficial to revitalize the European rail sector. So we do identify business needs, propose innovation fields to make rail more attractive and more competitive. This is our core mission. We also have a strong academic branch that fosters and guides research efforts at academia and companies alike at the European level. And so you see who is with ERRAC. So we have all the operators, almost all the operators, the likes of Deutsche Bahn or SNCF. We have the manufacturers, so the likes of an Alstom or a Siemens and small outfits. We have the member states of the European Union, all the user groups, infrastructure managers, the European Commission, the big programs that are now upcoming to advance Europe's rail, like EU Rail, and of course, academia. So we truly cover all segments, excuse me, of rail transport, from conventional to high speed and freight, urban and regional. So the European technology platforms, there are quite a few. I'm not sure if they still all around, but you see here the 6 big technology platform clusters: energy, environment, biotechnologies, mobility, information, and industrial. And we are in the mobility cluster, together with, for example, ERRAC, which is the Road Transport Research Advisory Council, and Waterborne that we just heard. So we can localize us on the big map of European technology platforms. The stakeholders, as I mentioned, are all the key stakeholders of the railway sector. We are known to have quite a few associations in the railway sector. So we do have the operators in the UIC, and we do have the suppliers, for example, in Unife, and the other quite very important associations that you see on this slide that also join us, team up with us to make the pan-European transport, rail transport, a more competitive one. The structure is along working groups. So we do have working groups for strategic programs, for projects, for communication, for academia, so the research. And we do have a member state group that all gather 2 or 3 times a year in the ERRAC steering committees. And then decisions are made, and the big gatherings are the ERRAC plenaries. The next ERRAC plenary upcoming in Brussels, so we look forward to see each other physically after the pandemic for the first time in Brussels next week. The governance chairperson, I'm honored to serve as a delegate from the UIC for a 3-year term. The next 3-year term will be from the supplier side. I'm very much supported by a secretariat and 2 vice chairs. You find details about how we set up on ERRAC.org, so I invite you all to visit us on our brand new website. You will be pleased. What do we do? Or what did we do? And what do we continue to do? We propose agendas, key documents that do have an impact on the future of rail. For example, the Rail Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda, the SRIA. On the next slide, I will go into further detail about that document. We also authored a document about Rail 2030, so the research innovation priorities in the 8 to 10 years to come. And then we do have a vision for the rail in 2050, rail as being the backbone of Europe's multimodal mobility. You also find all publications for your viewing and reading pleasure on our website on ERRAC.org. Again, please have a look. It will be worth your while. We are active in Europe's rail. You probably heard about Europe's rail. It's formerly known as ERJU, Joint Undertaking, or the successor of Shift2Rail. So it is one of these horizon projects of the European Union. It's the one that addresses the rail sector, and it aims to advance rail, passenger and freight transport. So it has basically 2 main pillars, 2 main focuses. One is rather on system architecture of the future, control systems, digitalized train operations, and one that's called the innovation pillar that is more looking after technology development, so key enabling technologies, but they're again mainly in the field of digitalization. We truly believe, and all of the rail sector believes, that digitalization will be the key change for rail operations throughout Europe. The founding members are the 10 major operators. So again, for example, as an example, Deutsche Bahn and SNCF, and over 15 industrialists here again as an example, the Alstoms and the Siemenses of our continent. The program starts in summer 22, so this summer. It's now the call for projects, and we expect this program to start really in anger this autumn. How did we contribute? We wrote up the document that was we like to believe, and it is indeed the foundation of the research and innovation program of this Horizon project. It's the SRIA I mentioned before. So it was provided to the European Commission and was part of the process to put in place the existing Shift2Rail, successor of Shift2Rail program that's now called Europe's Rail. We are still involved. We don't stop at writing writing up the content, what should be done in the next 8 to 10 years, but we also have an observatory member. We are an observative member of the governing board of Europe's Rail, a member of various steering groups. For example, this system pillar. As I told you, the tenure of, the operating rhythm of ERRAC, of course, we have continuous initiatives, but for the next 3 years, the main activities that are planned to date is to try to address the gaps between what the sector initially wanted in this new Shift to Rail European project and what actually can be done. The budget was significantly reduced, so we will see in the next 2-3 years what important activities are not addressed for a sector and find ways how the sector could do this work instead or complement the second round of projects of Shift to Rail. Then we are about, and this is breaking news, we're about to publish a manifesto of future mobility. We thought it's an important statement that we must make as a sector to remind everybody, also at TRA, that railways are indeed the first choice because they are sustainable, inclusive, individual, and truly the backbone of multimodal transport. Then we strive to collaborate with other platforms. You have seen the host of platforms that are around. We believe in collaboration, especially in the context of multimodality. We think, for example, 2 examples, the new digital automatic coupling that the European rail sector wants to introduce for its vehicles could be really truly leveraged for the whole supply chain, and also to explore as a consequence, single unit logistics concepts. Last but not least, we are to work towards the next program of the European Union. As you know, after the program is before the program, so we had Shift to Rail 1. I put it into high columns. So Shift to Rail 2, if you want, is now this Europe's Rail, but there will be a Shift to Rail 3. And there will be lessons learned from this Horizon project, what could be improved, what are the best practices we now learned in the next 8 to 10 years for the next big European research, innovation, and technology platform. Here, ERRAC is probably the sector voice of choice because we are, as I said, we reassembled the whole sector, operators, suppliers, and academia alike. Again, let me invite you to our new website, errac.org. There you find all the documentations that you want. The key events for us this year, of course, Lisbon, goes without saying, in November. We also are present in June in Birmingham at the World Congress of Rail Research and at the InnoTrans in September in the city of Berlin. If you are keen to know more about ERRAC, please reach out to the chair, the vice chairs, the secretary, and here you find, I trust we will distribute them the slides later. So here you see the contact of Mr. Kupfer, the secretary of ERRAC, if you want to have material or more information, or reach out to either myself or Messias, Schlad, and Stichel. Thank you very much. So that was the end of my the presentation. Could the host please take over the screen again?
Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much,
And
Roland.
maybe just to conclude what we do at TRA. Of course, we do have a stand, exhibition stand. We'll give an overview of projects. We will participate as Waterborne in a number of plenary sessions. We are happy to be able to place numerous speakers in strategic sessions. And of course, we offer continuous discussions about the shift towards a more sustainable rail mobility during the whole conference. So thank you very much for your attention, and please take over the screen and the microphone, and
thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you, Roland. Thank you. Indeed, thank you for this presentation. Rail has been historically the most sustainable mode of transport, and I guess also increasingly popular more and more popular for passenger transport in last few decades and years, especially in Europe. Now I will pass the floor to Ovidiu Dumitrache, who comes from the aviation sector. Actually, he's presenting ACARE, which is the Advisory Council for Aviation Research and Innovation in Europe. Ovidiu is an aerospace engineer that has been working at Eurocontrol since 2005, where he holds the Senior Manager of Research Strategy position. Within ACARE, Ovidiu has been involved in all important developments, and most notably in the 2012 Strategic Research Innovation Agenda, and is currently in the revision of the ACARE Vision for 2050. Ovidiu, the floor is yours to tell us more about the state of art of aviation in Europe and what can we expect at TRA.
Yes, thanks everyone. I don't know if you see my presentation.
We can see it. You can go in full presentation mode.
All right. Well, I thought I was, but for some reason I wasn't. Is it now in full?
No, it's still in PowerPoint, but I think I see that you are clicking on the full presentation mode, so it's strange that it doesn't appear. But
yeah, it's there is some incompatibility at some level between GoToWebinar and the IT at Eurocontrol, but I will try to sort it out and put it in full mode. It is in full mode in my on my screen now. Okay. But I don't know if it is in full mode on your screen.
No. I guess maybe you can try to close and reopen the presentation, and then if not, we can just watch in this mode because we can see quite well.
Let me check if it works like
it's
that.
Better in presentation mode always, but if we can have it, we do with what we have.
I'll zoom in wider. Yeah. Okay. Is it better now?
It's better. It's still not in full mode, but it's better. We see it better, but we see your next slide. I think this is the presenter mode for you. But please go ahead.
I don't know why GoTo has chosen to show my other screen.
Oh, I think when you when you share, let me try to make you presenter again, and then you can also try to choose a window that you want to show.
Okay.
There's also an option to show the whole screen, but also only a window normally.
Is it better now?
It's the same as before. We see the slides, not in the PowerPoint, but in this presenter mode. But I think it's big enough. You can please go ahead. Don't worry. We see it now full. Okay, great.
Yeah. All right. Good. So the Advisory Council for Aviation Research and Innovation in Europe, ACARE, is quite big. I mean, we have hundreds and hundreds of stakeholders, and I've only put the logo of Eurocontrol because I'm with Eurocontrol, so I'm piggybacking on the presentation. But we have 28 member states. We have the European Commission. We have the manufacturing industry, EASA, air navigation service providers, Eurocontrol, several research centers and industrials, universities, regulators. So, and we have this structure there under the oversight of the General Assembly, We have a communication group, we have a member states group, and then we have working groups for mobility, competitiveness, environment and energy, safety and security, resources, and then we have these transversal groups, the strategy and integration board and the implementation review group. This is just to give an overview. Since the Vision 2020 was put out in 2000, ACARE has developed a series of documents basically covering the vision of the members for the future. We had 2 versions of our initial strategic research agenda. Then in 2008 there was an addendum. Then Flight Path 2050 was published, and as a consequence we developed the current version of the strategic research and innovation agenda for aviation in 2012. This document is fully aligned with the 5 goals of Flight Path 2050. So meeting societal and market needs, maintaining and extending industrial leadership, protecting the environment and the energy supply, ensuring safety and security, and prioritizing research, testing capabilities, and education. This is just an example that we go deeper, and we go even deeper in the volume 2 with identifying goals and then research needs to achieve those goals in all the 5 areas. These are the goals under prioritizing research and testing capabilities. These are the goals under safety and security, and we cover, and then our most sort of important goal was to bring safety and security together in the same sort of working group and talking the same language, which was not easy because they are different experts and different expertise involved, and we achieved that, and we're quite happy about this. This is somewhere where we created a buzz with our objectives. I've seen these objectives picked up all over the world in various webinars and various places. So even from the SRIA in 2012, we had some quite significant objectives that have to do with the environment. And we are looking at, we were looking, because we are now revising this with increased focus on sustainability. But really, we were conscious of the fact that that environment is becoming the most important driver for transport. So industrial leadership goals, where we try to achieve and maintain a leadership position globally in the European aviation industry, and while collaborating at a global level, particularly in operations, because aviation is global by definition. In operations, we try to maintain this leadership in the aviation industry. And of course, we now come sort of closer to TRA and the concept behind TRA. We already from the 2012 SRIA, we have put some multimodal goals there because societal and market needs are more targeted towards an integrated transport system than to the modes by themselves. So these multimodal sort of goals that we have established for aviation already a number of years ago have also been sort of socialized significantly over time, and in particular the access of travelers within Europe to complete journeys door to door within 4 hours, which everybody told us was utopic, and it may still be, but we think that it is achievable if the modes collaborate and put the passenger in the middle. We have currently 2 partnerships in aviation research. We have the Clean Sky JU, currently at their 2nd edition. They are focusing more on the vehicles and the engines and the propulsion and the energy around the aircraft. And we have the Segarra joint undertaking looking more at operations, at air traffic management. And the Segarra GU has just started its 3rd iteration, and we are now busy building the program behind it. And both of them have published their strategic research and innovation agendas. And you will see that in both SRIAs, but particularly in the operational one, in the Segarra GU SRIA, we have a full chapter on multimodality and passenger experience. And this is because the trends associated with transport are the same for all of us. And in particular, the connected citizen and the smart and integrated mobility are the trends that are there to stay. The more and more the European citizen is used to having services at the tip of a finger, complete and full and reliable services, and mobility is a concept which is intrinsically an integrator of modes. We see the same type of development happening, significant digitalization, automation, connectivity, the Internet of Things, new types of vehicles there. And we need to work together to understand the risk models that these kind of developments bring, and how we can mitigate those new risks, and how the human behaves in the context of these developments. And of course, we face the same challenges. The greening of transport is a challenge for all of us. Increased security, protection of passenger or personal data, the sort of finding the right way to regulate and to comply with regulation, the introduction of automation and how this is perceived by society. So all of those are challenges for all the transport modes. Which brings me to TRA 2022, and I've put little airplanes there in everywhere in the topics of TRA 2022, where there are developments in aviation today that are very critical and that pertain to discussions with the other modes. If you look at connected and automated multimodal mobility, if you look at the sustainable interurban and urban mobility, we have UAM, so urban air mobility, coming in with new business and governance models, and in the transport externalities and pricing carbon, we operate a ETS, so a scheme for trading carbon price for many years now. So we have a lot that we could share with the other modes, and where we can learn now from each other and somehow streamline developments and research and where we want to go. And we are, as well as the other modes, present in most of the strategic sessions with speakers from aviation. And we, as I said, we have now finalized the revision of Flight Path 2050 with a new document looking at the interrelationships between everything you see on screen now. We will publish this at ILA, Berlin, and we hope to be able to organize an invited session at TRA2022 to socialize it again, to put this in a multimodal context. So that's my presentation to you today. I hope I didn't blow the 15 minutes slot I was given, and of course, by all means, if there's questions or if after the fact you think about something you might want to ask, by all means email the TRA colleagues or myself directly. So this is it. I will stop sharing.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ovidiu. I will now pass the floor to Miguel José, and I'll briefly present him as well. So our last presentation is about the ECTP, which is the Energy Efficient Building Committee. Dr. Miguel Segarra here with us is the Vice President and Chairman in the ECTP, and he's the Chairman of the Infrastructures and Mobility Committee. Miguel José is also Head of R&D and Innovation in Dragados, which is one of the largest construction companies of the ACS Group. There he manages R&D and innovation activity for the global operations of the company. Miguel, I think I will send you a webcam request. We can see your screen. I think we can hear you as well, but okay, now we can see you as well. So okay, please go ahead, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Andrea. Good afternoon, everybody. As I have just been presented, I am Miguel Segarra, and I'm going to introduce just some highlights of ECTP. ECTP stands or stood, if I could say better, for European Construction Technology Platform, but more or less 1 year ago, we changed the name.
Oh, we cannot hear you anymore, Miguel. I think maybe something, I think you muted yourself.
Sorry, I don't know what happened. I couldn't move forward the slides, no problem.
We can hear you now.
Yeah, thank you. So now ECTP stands for European Construction, Built Environment and Energy Efficient Buildings Technology Platform. So basically, as you will see, our the main challenges that we try to address has everything related to the built environment, and this is not just only for buildings, but it's also for every kind of infrastructure, utility networks, etc. And the main challenges, as you can imagine, are more or less the ones that have been reported so far by the rest of the platforms. Everything dealing with energy, with climate change, with achieving efficiency in the built environment, and in general sustainability from every one of the points of view. The ECTP is an association which is established in Belgium, in Brussels. We have more than 140 member organizations coming from the whole supply chain, from the industry of the construction sector, but also from the research, the academia, or even associations. And obviously, as you can imagine as well, and as has been already explained by the rest of the platform representatives, our main objective is to develop research, development, and innovation strategies for the built environment that are able to increase European competitiveness, meet the societal needs and the environmental challenges. So basically, what we cooperate within the sector and maybe with other sectors as well. We try to innovate, implement the innovations and have an impact in the built environment. This is our main target. Well, the platform, the construction platform is formed by different committees. We are structured in what we call committees, and we have 6 of them. The first one is related to active aging and design, precisely for the elder people, as this will be something in the future that will need to be addressed at the level of the built environment. Materials and Sustainability Committee, as you can imagine, dealing with new materials and advanced materials, energy efficient materials, efficient from every other point of view, maybe from resistance, weight, etc., this type of things. And there's the sustainability. The Energy Efficient Buildings Committee, dealing specifically with the energy efficiency aspect of the buildings in Europe, which accounts for a large part of the emissions in the Union. The Heritage and Regeneration Committee. Europe has a big, large, huge wealth of heritage, and we need also to keep it alive, to maintain it, to refurbish, to rehabilitate it. So that's an important part also of the platform. We have the Infrastructure and Mobility Committee, which I am representing here today with ECTP. And also we have the Digital Built Environment Committee, which is dealing with the pervasive use of the digital technologies in the built environment. We have also a network of national technology platforms dealing with construction, this is national construction technology platforms in many different member state countries, and is coordinated by Novatec from France, a research organization in France. And we have developed in the past a contractual public-private partnership with the Commission, which was called the Energy Efficient Buildings Partnership. And now, as of Horizon Europe, we are starting to run the Build for People Partnership, which started just at the end of last year. Well, if I move to the next slide, this image is showing a little bit the ecosystem of the members and interested parties in ECTP. On the one side, on the right, you can see the committees I just explained. Everyone has its own chair, executive board, members of the committee, etc. In the pink lines, you can see that we have different memorandums of understanding or agreements with different organizations. Like ENCORE, for instance, is the European Network of Construction Companies for Research and Development. We have a European Platform for Photovoltaics, or FERL, the Forum of European National Highway Research Laboratories, among others. You go to the yellow line, top right, we have the ECTP members. We have, as I explained, different type of members. Industry members, here we have, for instance, the largest construction companies in Europe and in the world, because most of them are, let's say, global players and are the leaders in this industry in the world. We have SMEs, we have research organizations, every type of research organization that you can imagine, and other organizations which are also members of ECTP, for instance, associations. Obviously, we have, in the case of ECTP, we have a network of construction technology platforms at the national level. For instance, you can see in the red line, countries like Austria, Belgium, Cyprus, Denmark, France, Germany, Greece, Hungary, Italy, many others, which are also networking with ECTP in order to feed and to have an understanding of the challenges, needs, and objectives in the different geographical areas of Europe. In the green line below right, we have the CPP, the Energy Efficient Buildings Public-Private Partnership, that just ended at the end of the last year, and we have now, let's say, the continuation of this one, which is the Build for People contractual partnership. And as you can imagine, many of the members of ECTP are involved and working in this Build for People partnership. We have what we call Friends and the Internet of Things Association and many others, materials associations, cooling equipment association, materials of the future association, etc. We have some obviously common interest, and we have also continuous contact and let's say business, let's say, with the European Commission, and also some working groups of the set plans which are dealing with the built environment. So this is the, let's say, the ecosystem of ECTP. Well, if you want to look at the different members by the country they come from, we have a very widespread distribution of members. But we could also remark, for instance, Spain, Belgium, France, or Italy, even Germany, as let's say the countries where we have most of the members coming from. Well, obviously, we also deal with developing documents to, let's say, invent the future, not just hope that it will be as we would like it to be, but just to invent the future and take the steps which are needed in order to reach it. And here you have some of the main areas of concern for ECTP regarding our priorities for research and innovation. Obviously, clean built environment and cities, and this is all, as I have explained, dealing with buildings and also with infrastructures. Making cities positive energy areas. I will not explain any one of the items, but the main topics will be the clean environment and cities. Built for and with the people. We are putting the people and the people that lives in the and develops their lives in the built environment in the center of the process. Developing a prosperous construction ecosystem. As I have said, in Europe we have the most powerful construction industry in the world, operating globally, and we need to further strengthen our competitiveness to remain in that position. And one last topic will be the one of digitalization. And here I include also, let's say, the automation, robotics, etc. And this is a pervading technology that we are dealing with it during the design, during the construction, during the operation phase, and also during the decommission phase of the built environment. So these are the main areas in which ECTP is developing their work through a strategic research agenda, position documents, etc. For instance, just right now, and the 6 committees of ECTP are renewing their position papers for the years to come, and we will also develop a new strategic research and innovation agenda by the end of the year or the beginning of the next one. Well, if you are interested in ECTP, here you can find a number of reasons why you would like to join the ECTP. The first one could be everything related with influencing the innovation and strategic research agenda, obviously of the industry, and in collaboration also with the European Commission. ECTP also brings access to knowledge, resource, and expertise. As I have said, we have more than 140 members coming from the industry, but also from research organizations and associations dealing with the construction or any stakeholder related to construction. You have also a big number of partners that you could access and get information from them, or even from ECTP publication, or participating in committees of ECTP, etc. And also different opportunities that ECTP brings. For instance, we have a biennial conference or different seminars, training, etc. If I move a little bit towards why we are in TRA, well, we have one committee which is dealing with infrastructure and mobility, in particular also with transport infrastructure. In ECTP, we feel that we are transversal to all the modes. I mean, we are not road, we are not water, we are not air, we are not whatever you like. We are everything, because here you will find the companies and the organizations that build the infrastructure. We build the ports, we build the airport, we build the railways, we build the roads. We do it along with other companies, for instance, for digitalization or whatever is needed in the infrastructure. But the infrastructure is built by us. So we feel we are transversal to all the other platforms and all the other modes. And that means we need to collaborate with them, cooperate with them, integrate with them in order to develop the future that we want for transport. And this is one of the main reasons what we feel we belong to TRA. This is just an example of many of the activities that we have developed as ECTP or in collaboration with others. I don't know, maybe during the last 10 years or so, from the refined initiative that we have 10 years ago through a number of documents developed in collaboration with the other platforms, like the Joint Cross-Model Roadmap developed 6 or 7 years ago, and many other position documents. We share with FERL the 4x4 strategy, and as you can see, we are always trying to integrate with others, because we feel this is common to all, and not just belonging to CTP or to every one of the specific modes. And I think this is my last slide, just very short comment about TRA. Obviously in TRA, we've been involved here since 2014. We started in Paris, then Warsaw, Vienna, Helsinki, Lisbon. We'll continue in the future. And we participate in the management committee of TRA. We participate in the program committee. We participate also organizing plenary sessions, strategic sessions, invited or specific sessions dealing with projects or specific topics that we want to raise in relation to research. But in my view, the most important thing we bring to TRA is that TRA is the one place for all the industry, the academia, let's say the policy makers, to meet in a single place for a few days and network. So you can have lots of highly interesting sessions with very high level speakers, but I would recommend that the most important thing is also happening in between. It is the networking that you do. And if you are interested in getting in touch with someone from the construction industry dealing with transport infrastructure, that would be the place to meet us and talk with us and let's say plan the future with us. And this is my last slide, if I remember correctly. Well, thank you very much for the opportunity to be here and share these thoughts with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miguel, José. And indeed, this was the last presentation for today. I don't see any questions in the questions box, but I prepared some questions for some of you, and maybe you can say, Miguel, José, and answer this one to me, which is mainly, it actually concerns all of the ETPs. So all of the ETPs are covering different areas of mobility, rail, aviation, waterborne, and infrastructure. So with different objectives and different visions, what do you think brings all of these different ETPs under the TRA?
Well, maybe I just answered the question, because the most important thing from my point of view is because it is the one place for meeting together. I don't think there is any other place in Europe or in or any other conference. I think TRA is the transport conference, which brings together all the representatives for all the modes, coming from all the modes, and all the stakeholders represented in every one of the modes, the industry, the academia, the policy makers. And you have 4 days there in which you can, let's say, interact with the others and develop your ideas, getting the points of view of the others, and let's say progress in what we want to achieve from transport in the future. And in relation to ECTP, just what I have said, we are transversal. We are not dealing with one mode. We are dealing with all the other modes. So for us also, it's a big opportunity, not just to talk to one of the modes, just to have all of them together, sitting in one place at the same time, let's say, during 4 days, which is also a big opportunity, not just for the others to talk to us, but for the construction, let's say, stakeholders and the supply chain to have at the hand's reach all the other modes in one place.
Indeed, yeah, thank you, Miguel José. Indeed, especially the infrastructure one is the transversal mode. I have another question also for Jaap Gebraad, which is also about what we covered a little bit. The objective of this webinar was to address industry issues and needs also. What will your organization bring to the transport industry, suppliers or users that will make it worth for the industry to come to Lisbon in November?
What I think is quite unique in that sense is that we all have our specificities, but I would say that we are, some would say fragmented, I earlier call it diversified. Waterborne transport as such already, for example, for the ship owners, is so complex in terms of different ship types, in terms of operating routes, in terms of where are you sailing, and that makes it quite complicated at this moment in time to come to a decision. Suppose you would like to order a new vessel with shipyards being fully booked. You don't know which infrastructure will be available where. You don't know which alternative fuel will be available where. What are you going to do? And what we see in the last 1.5 years, and I think that counts for all of us, is that with the implementation of the European Green Deal, and we could say, okay, it's 2050, but if we look at the average lifetime of a vessel, which is 25 years, this means this vessel should be available by 2025. And thereby coming together, discussing together, searching together for solutions which are implementable, but which are also competitive, will make this TRA a very interesting one. Unfortunately, we could have part of the discussions only in 2020 because we shifted to the hybrid or online TRA. And I think this TRA offers the unique opportunity to discuss these items, since specifically in that week also the COP27 is taking place. It's quite clearly linked to the transition to zero emission transport. Shall I put it like this?
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yep, Ovidiu, my next question is for you. You also mentioned that you are a great admirer of collaboration. Also, all of these organizations, they somehow focus on collaborations with their members and so on. This is also one of the TRA principles. How does this take place in ACARE? Do you have joint projects? Are you sharing knowledge? Are you exchanging best practices?
Yes, we maybe all of the above. Because in one or the other areas of aviation, we come in contact with the other modes. We are turning our airports into multimodal modes for transport, and there we have to work with the infrastructure people. We have to work with the railroad and the people. We have to put together some sort of seamless security, physical security, but also cyber security. We want to start sharing performance data, constraints data, because we are looking at the digital transport system in the near future. So we, in the context of urban mobility, we now have to work together very, very closely with surface transport modes in the cities to be able to integrate our urban air mobility vehicles, and we need to work closely with city planners, with with everybody who's coming to the TRA, basically, for that. And the challenge of, as I said in my presentation, the challenge posed by the sustainability focus these days is common to all of us, and we are already working with researchers from other modes of transport to particularly for the future fuels. We depend on the availability and introduction of synthetic aviation fuels in the short to medium term to be able to achieve decarbonization. And why would we all work our own separate methods and methodologies and invent the same wheel when we can share what we've done already and maybe converge and achieve some sort of coherence? And this is why I said all the methods that you mentioned, we are already one way or the other using to collaborate with the other modes of transport. But it's obvious that we are very, very committed to increasing said collaboration, because we have a number of critical developments and that would benefit from collaborating with the other modes. So we will be happy to be at TRA, and even outside the TRA, we will reach out to the other ETPs and hope to establish some joint developments.
Thank you, Ovidiu. I'm just going to mention one comment we have from one of the attendees who said that we should mention, not to avoid any confusion, that clean sky is now clean aviation. And I think you mentioned this concept. Okay, I think we are a little bit ahead of time, but there are no other questions, and I think we covered all the topics. And also we all had our share of digital online meetings. I would like to thank all of the attendees for their attention and all the panelists for their presentations and willingness to participate in this webinar. This webinar will be published on the TRA website, the presentations and both the recording in the upcoming days, and we'll also share on our social media. And finally, I look forward to meeting you all in Lisbon in person in November this year. I'll close the webinar now. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you all.
Take care.
Bye.